Hello and welcome.
That's why you need to buy a slate.
You get your fingers caught in that, though, if you get the slate.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, man, that would suck. I was like, there must be a special way to hold the slate so you don't.
Yeah, some
snap your
people kind of
fingers.
just end up in the wrong spot and then clap,
Okay.
and that's it.
All right. So, anyways, welcome back to the show. We were just discussing how to use a slate. That's that thing you see, and they say take one in films, I believe. Brendt Thomas Diabo is here. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
No problem, man.
And
Thanks for having me.
speaking of filming and acting, in addition to being a musician, you act as well.
Occasionally, yeah, if I could get the part.
Okay. And how has it been during COVID? Because we've talked to some other actors here, and it's been a different process for them moving ahead because they aren't going to live auditions anymore. Maybe now it's starting up again, but for the longest time they had to submit them doing the audition, say via Zoom or on their camera phone.
Right. I've been self-taping a lot, and I prefer that. I mean, it's easier to do. It's more comfortable. You can
Right.
retape things as opposed to, going in the room. You might only get one or two chances at something,
Right.
and you might not feel that it's your best performance. So
Right.
I prefer taping, and that's what I've been doing. And I just started kind of going back into the room myself.
Okay.
So, yeah, you take it as it comes, whatever
Right.
you can get. But I prefer to self-tape more than
self-tape.
anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, with the live audition process, you can't really check out the other talent, or do they still do that? Do you still go in a room where there's a half a dozen other people waiting to read the same lines?
Oh,
you
yeah,
are?
yeah.
Okay.
It's not as many people now because
Okay.
of the protocols. But
Right.
there's still that group, an initial group of people, and there's still that weird energy in there of everybody
okay.
being anxious and kind of, waiting to go in and get their
Right.
turn over,
And you
which
find
I hate.
Right.
Which I
You
hate
find it
that.
very competitive in that room while you're waiting.
It's
Everyone's
not.
kind of.
I don't think it's competitive. I think
Okay.
it's just a little bit more. There's more pressure.
More pressure, right?
Yeah,
Right.
it just feels a bit more tense and stressful, which is something that I don't prefer to feel like going into an audition. So
Right. Because you want to be relaxed, so you can focus on the lines you got to deliver.
that's it. Yeah,
Right.
performance, hitting all your cues, your marks,
Right.
all that stuff. So
Right. Unless you're auditioning to play an actor who's going into an audition where there's other actors competing for the same
Yeah.
role, then you might be able to use that as a, as a fuel. as they say.
totally. It's inspiration. That's it.
Great. Well, there you go. Some acting tips. So I was listening to your new release, Foolish Heart, which I love. It's great.
Thank you.
And maybe tell us how that came to be and how you recorded it and how that all came together.
Sure. I had that song for a couple of years, maybe like 2 years or something like that. Just kind of throwing it around, demoing it acoustically.
Okay.
And I had met Derek Downham.
Derek Downham. Right, Derek.
Yeah,
yes.
he's a genius
Yes.
in terms of production.
Mhm.
And I kind of gave him a rough idea of what I wanted the song to sound like. And he hit it out of the park. So we were going for kind of the 80s Steve Earle, Dwight Yoakam
Oh, okay. Right.
vibe. So we got that. And we demoed it and kind of had it in production, mixing and mastering for about a year. Just tweaking things, getting it right. And finally it's been, set loose on the world.
Right. And what was the official release date? That was just recently this year, correct?
Man, I can't even remember.
Okay, but
once it's out there, it's
once
just,
it's out there, it's out there.
going.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're also working towards putting together EP or full length project with Derek. Is that correct? I was reading that somewhere.
Derek's involved in that. I
Okay.
finished that record in August. We actually recorded that over the pandemic. Derek's involved in it. He's playing keyboards, did a bit of drumming, a bit of guitar. But Darcy Yates from Bahamas,
Right.
he's producing that.
Oh, great.
And he's co-produced. Aaron Goldstein is co-producing that as well.
Okay.
Who's played with? He used to play steel for City and Color, Daniel Romano.
Okay.
And he owns Baldwin Street Sound.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Excellent. And how did you get to meet these wonderful individuals?
Just kind of kicking around the scene.
Okay.
And I was hanging out with, my guitarist is Darcy's identical twin brother.
Oh,
like
really?
if you see them, they both have long hair and beards, and
Okay.
they're covered in tattoos, and people get them confused all the time.
All right.
But we would go see Darcy's band play every Monday night at the Skyline when the world
Skyline.
was still normal.
Right.
And so kind of started hanging out there a bit, and then Darcy came see me and Clayton play a few times, and he goes, "Hey man, let's work together. Let's do something."
Okay.
So that kind of materialized, and that's that.
Because a lot of your stuff I was listening to has that sort of classic old country sort of feel. Stuff that songs I was first exposed to from my parents, just from they'd have parties and they'd have these albums on. Who were some of your influences growing up?
I mean, I was kind of I tried to steer away from that as a kid.
Oh, okay.
But I was force-fed George Jones and
yeah.
Elvis Presley and,
Right.
like I said, Dwight Yoakam and Steve Earle and a lot of stuff like that. My first record that I owned was Copperhead Road because
nice.
during the 1990 Oka crisis, Steve Earle actually snuck in behind
Right.
the lines and did a performance acoustic and his mandolin
Okay.
in Kahnawake.
Right.
So everybody kind of had his CDs in the community, and that was the first thing that my father kind of introduced me to was Steve Earle.
I was actually going to ask you about that because I'm not sure how old you are. We don't have to say that on camera, but I was
I'm not
trying
giving that away.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Because the Oka crisis, that was around 1990 when that sort of started transpiring, and then continued after that. And you were born and raised to Kahnawake as well.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. I was just born then in 1990.
You were just born.
Yeah,
Okay.
So
All right.
If you do the math, you'll figure it out.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. So so that continued with you to now to your adulthood, the love for that sort of that type of music, or did you veer off like in your teens? Did you get into punk rock or in other genres of music? Or?
I veered off in my teens. Like I started playing in a lot of punk rock bands and hardcore bands, and that's how I kind of got the bug for touring a lot.
Okay.
And I kind of came full circle with it because I just kind of find that music is very country music is very real and
It
pure.
is. Right.
You know, they say it's three chords in the truth, that old cliche saying.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
And I think that hits it home.
That's
for
right.
me. Because once you get a certain age, you can't really relate to like punk rock and heavy metal anymore and all that screaming.
It's hard to stay that, I don't know, for lack of better terms, angry.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I'm in my 50s now. Oh, there's a fire truck going by. Okay. Like I'm in my 50s now, and I kind of feel, I mean, there's still concerns I have about the world, of course, and against different injustices, but my approach is a lot different now than, say, in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And that's matured, I guess, musically for you as well.
I mean, I wasn't like rebelling against the government or anything. I was just a kid that like wanted to play guitar and play music. And kind of get out of the res.
Right.
So I was able to do that through punk rock and hardcore.
Right.
And that's kind of how I like started coming to Toronto and got to see a little bit of the country. Was touring in hardcore bands.
Okay.
And we used to play at like, what was that place at Queen and Bathurst, that 2-level?
Oh, the Big Bop and the...
Reverb?
Oh, the Reverb.
Yeah.
It was like the Big Bop, the Reverb, and there was Holy Joe's on top, I think, was
That one, Holy Joe's, might be before my time. I think it was the Cathedral and the Reverb at one point.
That's right.
Yeah.
It went through different sort of, I think, owners over the years, and maybe the names changed through the years, but I know exactly what you're talking about. It's now like a furniture store.
Yeah, it's sad to see now. That's gentrification for you. But, we'd come out here from Montreal and kind of play festivals and open for bands and stuff like that.
Right.
And we were touring like continuously in this hardcore band I was in, and we got like signed to an independent record label.
Okay. And what was the name of the hardcore band? Just there
were two. We started off as this typical stupid name called the Dead Walk, and then we went to Hatred, which is very.
Oh, okay.
You get the point, right?
I get the point. Yes.
So that kind of got me out, and like I said, I wasn't out to fuck the system or anything like that. I just wanted to play guitar and go on adventures, which I ended up doing.
Right.
And caught the bug, and I'm still kind of running around doing that today.
Right. And as we discussed, now that venue is a furniture store, and there's been many other venues that have closed down in the Toronto area, especially just up the street from us. Hughes Room, that's now unfortunately been closed.
Oh, yeah.
As well as some other venues. I think Cadillac Lounge, that's no longer a thing, although I heard someone reopened it, but we'll get back to that. But it seems to be a lot more live music venues closing. So do you see that a potential sort of trend for the future where there's less and less places for musicians to perform?
I don't think so. I think the ones that really matter are going to stick around, like the Dakota and the Cameron,
right.
the local.
Because those are doing very well still. I mean, given the pandemic, it's a different situation. But
it was getting scary for a couple of those places for a little while at the beginning. Like, I live on top of the Cameron.
That's right. I was reading that. That's right.
So.
And what's that like? Must
Loud.
be interesting. Okay.
It's very loud.
I can imagine.
But yeah, they were kind of sweating about it. They weren't sure what was going to happen, and luckily, like, the restrictions eased up a bit.
Okay.
And I had kind of heard whispers through the grapevine that the Dakota was looking at closing its doors too.
Oh, really?
And once places like those start to disappear,
right,
and then it's going to become a bit more concerning. Like, Hughes Room was kind of a staple in
right,
the
that's
musical
right.
community. So it was sad to see that go, but
Right.
that was more of like a venue as opposed
That's
to
right.
like I guess like a bar that you could walk into. And
That's right. That's right. I think they were only open for like events, like shows, and not just you just couldn't go there for lunch for.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Right.
Same thing with the Cadillac too.
That's right.
So I'm not too concerned about places shutting down, especially now that things are somewhat normal.
Right.
But yeah, the Cameron's pretty much in full swing again. They're only doing music right now Thursday to Sunday. So my apartment is right above the front stage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I took it over from Devin Cuddy.
Oh, okay.
And at one point in time, there's two radiators at the side wall. You were able to look down back in the day and see the bassist through a hole in the floor.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty what's the one, like a boho, like artist living situation.
Right.
Which I was kind of chasing after in my early 20s.
Okay.
You know, trying to immerse myself.
Of course,
right.
Right.
It's kind of a cool spot to live in. I mean, Gordy Johnson from Big Sugar lived in the front room.
Right, yeah.
Which is right above the bar there. Blue Rodeo got their start there. Like,
right.
Devin Cuddy's lived there. A few
right.
other musicians. The bass player from the Sadies has a studio up there.
Right.
So it's a very interesting community.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting place to lay my head.
It's a historical building itself. I mean, everyone sort of recognizes it from photos, even the people that don't live in Toronto.
Yeah.
And it's had, like you said, a lot of great artists perform there, and a lot of new artists that are performing there now that I imagine will go on to greatness as well.
I think so. I mean, most of them kind of just end up staying there and playing their weekly residencies. There's like one band, I forget what they were called. They played for like 11 years every Tuesday night or Wednesday night.
Okay.
So that kind of becomes their gig.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, some people do go on to greater things, obviously.
Sure.
But for the most part, a few of those bands just kind of stay in that scene.
Right.
Yeah.
And when did you leave Kahnawake to come and make a full-time residence in Toronto?
Man, a few years now. It was on and off for me for a while. And I think I just settled in like permanently in like 2015.
Okay.
I want to say. And before that, I was going back and forth between here, Kahnawake, and spent some time in LA and just traveling around, trying to figure it out. And then I ended up here with the previous partner and just settled in.
Okay.
And now I'm dug in so deep that I don't plan on going anywhere for a while at least.
Right. It seems though Toronto has this sort of supportive scene for music, especially for genres that are like country and folk, as opposed to maybe some other cities in Canada. And how do you feel that compares with other places you've been, even the United States? I know there's Nashville and there's different scenes happening in different parts, of the country. But it seems like Toronto has its own sort of unique scene happening as well.
Yeah, I've never been to Nashville in particular, but I noticed that there's a bit of a resurgence in roots and country and like rock and roll and things like that.
That's right.
So you can kind of, find out where stuff like that's going on in almost any city.
That's right. Okay.
There was like country bands in LA when I was there.
Oh, okay.
Even when I was playing gigs in Brooklyn and New York a lot, there was like, I was playing country music and I ended up going to this this bar in Red Hook called Sonny's, which was a house converted into like a bar. You walk in, and the living room is now turned into like the bar, and then you go to the back of the house where the kitchen is, and it was kind of about this size, and it was just musicians all around. It was like a kitchen party playing dobro and fiddle and everything, and they're playing a lot of like country standards and things.
Right.
This is in Brooklyn.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's like I just managed to
yeah.
find a country bar in Brooklyn. You know?
Right.
So it's all over the place. But here in particular, there's definitely a scene for that genre of music, and it's strong too. Like there's a lot of good bands now.
Right.
Playing this stuff.
It seems like there's no shortage of very talented artists there playing original material, and also killing it.
Yeah.
At least the performances I've seen. Just before we started rolling, I think one of the last shows we saw before the pandemic had stopped everything was your show at the Cadillac Lounge that night.
Right on.
And then we've been sort of following your career since. And yes, congrats on all your success. And a few years ago, you were nominated for an award, an Indigenous Music Award as well.
I was, yeah. I was surprised about that. I was very grateful for it and honored, but it came out of the blue.
Okay.
And hopefully, with this new song, "Foolish Heart," on the charts
right.
for the IMC, we could do that again.
That's right.
It's been a while.
Okay, right. And it's been a while since there's been any sort of like big event shows or even award shows. I know there was one, what was it called? The Indian Summer Solstice Music Awards. It was a long title, but it was all streamed. Oh, Summer Solstice, sorry. But it was all streamed. So I think in the near future, with the pandemic, although it's hard to say, do you think we'll get back to having these sort of big award shows and stuff where people can go see these talented artists back in person rather than the streaming?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it'd be great because it's just not the same watching everything from your phone or on a computer.
No, that's why I never got into those streaming performances. I know a lot of artists had to do that during the pandemic. They couldn't get out and they were trying to keep their craft going and make some money. But it's not the same as being right there and then kind of even feeling the kick drum hit you depending where you're sitting, of course, in the venue. And,
it's just not the same vibe or the same energy. So
right.
I think a lot of people are hurting for that and wanted to come back. So fingers crossed that they do.
That's right. It must be ambulance day or is there emergency? There's like all these emergency vehicles going by.
This is just every day in Toronto. Man. Try living at Queen and Spadina. It's
I can imagine.
Continuous.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So I guess you have the acting and then you have music. Do you find that they complement each other or it's completely sort of different process? Because with music, I'll assume you're writing all your own material and coming up with your own sort of creative ideas versus acting. You're maybe limited to the script that you have or the story that you have to tell, which is usually someone else's story.
It's usually someone else's story, but you're drawing from personal experiences that you can kind of put into a character and make it relatable for you.
Right, okay.
So they're totally different mediums and processes, but you can kind of make it your own, just like I do with my music.
Right.
So.
That's good. Yeah. So what sort of, what do you think sets you apart from other musicians doing the same sort of genre that you're doing? Because like I said, what you're doing, it's both modern, but yet there's an old world sensibility, I guess if that's what it is for lack of better terms, which I assume is drawn from your influences, from listening to those artists that you mentioned.
Yeah, I don't really know what sets me apart. Maybe the fact that I'm Mohawk and I'm from Kahnawake, and I just kind of, have that whole lived experience in my upbringing. I don't know about that. What sets me apart? That's for the audience or the fans to judge. Right. Yeah.
Well, we'll take your calls now. No, too bad this isn't a call-in show. One day it'll be. Get all these phone calls in. So what are some of your, subject matter that you're writing about in your songs?
Oh, mostly getting dumped or breaking up or, things like that. Just the typical country, standards in a way.
Right.
Subject content.
Because it seems like it's about the three different shades of love. You've either found new love and you're excited, or two, you've been dumped, like you said, so you have no love. Or three, I guess you're searching for love, right?
Yeah, or you're having a good time,
Sure.
one or the other. It's That's about it. That's
about
the
it.
subject content. Yeah,
Great.
Mostly girls.
Girls. That's right. Well, that's all my songs. They're all about chicks. Just like all those Kiss songs.
There you go. Worked for them.
That's right. Exactly. They made quite a career.
Yeah.
Great. So the band that you're playing with now, these are people that are like session guys, or they've been with you for a while?
They're kind of hired guns, but they've kind of they've been with me for a bit now. Maybe like since I moved into the Cameron, maybe like 3 years or so.
Okay.
But they venture off and do other projects. Like my guitarist Clayton, he plays in Dave Mowatt's band.
Okay.
My drummer plays in the Trade-Offs with
okay.
Josh Q.
Okay.
Who else? My bassist is. I don't have a set bassist. They're constantly like it's a revolving door.
It's a revolving door.
Guys.
Okay. Right.
And then every once in a while, I have a pedal steel guy or a keyboardist or another guitar player, or something, just for accompaniment.
Yeah. And who's usually the pedal steel guy? Because I know the night that we saw you, the person was just fantastic on pedal steel.
I think that was Mike Eckerd.
Okay.
That night, he's very, very talented. They call him the Neon Eagle.
The Neon Eagle.
That's his nickname. But
that's awesome.
He was there, and once in a while, like for my records, I'll have Jimmy Boskill sit in.
Okay.
He's in the Sheepdogs.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be Jeff Healy's protege and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm very grateful and fortunate to kind of have these guys in my corner.
Right.
They're heavy hitters.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. So when you finish this new recording, I'll assume you're going to hit the road, do some touring, or?
Not too sure at the moment. There's a couple of talks with a label here in the city.
Okay.
So,
which label is that? Do you want to give a plug, or can you say anything?
I don't want to say. I don't want to
to
jinx it right now. Okay. But it's like kind of being discussed.
Sure.
And
okay.
Once we kind of have all the content, and if this goes through, we'll go from there about hitting the road, and if it's even feasible to hit the road because of the pandemic.
That's right. Who knows what's going to be open, and then what's seating going to look like if we go back into some sort of, social distancing, I guess, measures.
God, I hope not.
Yeah.
That Omicron or whatever is it? What's that new one?
Omicron. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah, but they say from preliminary reports, again, I'm not a doctor, consult with medical professionals. I heard it's not as severe, because usually as viruses mutate, they actually become more docile, less deadly than the original. At least that's what they say. But we'll see what happens.
I hope, man. Things are just getting normal, and then they're going to shut everything down again. That would suck.
Yeah. Let's hope not. I think, like I said, we're in the endemic phase where now this will just be a thing. Just like cold and flu season. Hey, got your shot? COVID season's come up. Okay, I got my shot. Right.
We're living with it now.
That's exactly. And although numbers are going up, it seems like the people that are in the ICU are mostly unvaccinated. So again, as long as you're taking precautions, and I'm sure we'll all get through this just fine. At least let's hope. So given that it's going to be hard, I guess, for all musicians to kind of, book their 2022 touring season and then beyond if no one knows what's going on.
Maybe. I mean, it seems like a few people are out there doing their thing.
Because I've talked to some festival directors, and they haven't even made plans yet for 2022 because they don't know what's going on.
Wow.
And the ones that have already kind of booked the artists they canceled for 2020 and 2021. So now I predict there'll be a sort of a bottleneck or backlog of all artists this year in the next 6 months releasing albums, and then want to tour. But now there's this sort of bottleneck of artists that release albums in 2020, 2021 that couldn't get out there. Now you're going to have all these people vying for gigs.
Yeah. There's going to be a whole lot of them too, man. So we'll see what happens.
Right.
That's all we can do right now.
Do you have any bucket list gigs you want to perform? Because I know you performed at the Pan Am Games, and then you opened for some other artists as well.
You're good, man.
Yeah. We have a bunch. We have a bunch of
you got some
researchers.
people
That's right.
working for you. Wow. Yeah.
Yes. We don't bring up the embarrassing stuff. We say that to later in the interview
good,
when we catch you off.
I don't really have any bucket list stuff like that at the moment. I've kind of been just focusing on getting this record done and kind of, inking a deal with somebody and getting to that next phase of things.
Right.
It's close.
It's close.
And then once once that happens, I'll kind of figure out, where I want to go and what I want to do. I honestly would just like to get back on the road.
Right.
And maybe start gigging around here again a bit more.
Right. Okay.
But in due time.
Okay. Are you looking, I guess, to cross Canada eventually once that becomes feasible, or the United States, or even Europe? Because a lot of Canadian acts that do folk and country having a lot of success in countries like Germany and Belgium and so forth.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've been hearing. I just signed with a PR label that has offices in the UK and Australia and Nashville and stuff like that.
Oh, great.
So they're already talking about like getting me over there because it's such a lucrative market for country artists. So fingers crossed on that. But it's not cheap to get an entire band over the pond.
Oh, no. Especially now with the rising fuel costs and such, right?
Yeah. So we'll take it as it comes, figure it out, one thing at a time.
And how many people in the band? How many numbers?
I'd say like 4 to 5 of us. So
yeah, it's...
You got to get accommodations and travel. And
Yeah.
It's getting pricey.
That's right. Unless you Airbnb it or...
I don't even want to think about all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a process, man. It's a lot of work.
It really is. And that's why it's fortunate for a lot of music festivals that do book artists. They look after a lot of those aspects for you. Because if you play like a big music festival, usually they have some sort of accommodation, whether it's at a hotel or sort of a B&B, or sometimes they have billeting at different sort of volunteers places. As well as a lot of festivals, they have food because artists need to eat as well.
Yeah, they do. Man, this one time I was playing this gig in Ottawa and they had like, I think 12 filet mignons for us.
Oh.
And my fucking keyboardist ate like 4 of them on us.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's like everybody ate except me and the drummer, and we came back to the green room and we're like looking for our dinner. And we're like, where is it? And like the bassist and the guitarist are kind of like sheepishly sitting there like, like he fucking ate all of them. And I was like, oh, great, thanks, man. So yeah, they do provide good food when you can get it, but you got to get the jump on the rest of the guys in the
That's
band.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Or get your insist on your own sort of dressing room or something.
Something like that.
Right.
Keep them away, scavengers.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's good. I mean, not good that they took your meal, but I mean, it's good that certain events do give you some sort of meal and accommodation.
Yeah.
So that must help out with tour costs as well, and
less of a headache.
Okay, right. And I guess there's different granting things you can apply for touring, whether it be Canada Council, Factor, I believe they.
There's a few. I'm not too sure off the top of my head what they are, but
sure.
That's why I'm hoping to kind of, ink this deal with these people
because they can help.
They can take care of all.
They can help with all that. That's right.
It's a job, man. Like to find all that stuff.
Well, she does that for our company. It's a lot of work.
A lot of work. So
that's right,
Laura.
That's right. Yes. Big thank you to Laura. Thank you.
Right on.
The easiest part of my job, I just sit here in front of the cameras and talk to you.
Sit there, look good.
That's
ask
right.
questions. That's it.
So do you have any merch that goes along with your albums? Because I know a lot of artists, even before the pandemic, they were complaining that CD sales have been going down consistently each year because the new listener wants to stream the music and not necessarily purchase.
Yeah, I think that's true. I have like a bunch of CDs and a bunch of vinyl and like T-shirts just to kind of have there as eye candy, or if people want it, it's there to buy. Excuse me. But yeah, people just want to stream all the time now. It's easy. It's convenient.
Right.
Like some cars don't even have a CD player.
No. Yeah, that's right.
What are you gonna put in your laptop? People aren't.
We don't even own a CD player. I don't think.
It's weird. It's becoming an ancient thing now.
It is odd. Although the quality of music is better from CDs because it's like high quality WAV files versus the compressed sort of audio you might get through Spotify.
I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
I don't think the people care anymore.
No,
at this
they
point,
don't. Well, especially if people are listening on little earbuds or some sort of Bluetooth speaker, so they're not really getting the full audio file experience anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'd rather just have merch there just to have it.
Right.
Any extra money helps.
Right. And do you see that sort of a main challenge with artists today versus, say, artists 10, 20 years ago? Because 10, 20 years ago, artists would sell, a bunch of CDs at a gig versus now where maybe those sales are cut in half. And I think even Danny Michel said in an article I was reading a couple of years ago where his CD sales have dropped like by 80, 90% sometimes in some regions.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on the artist. Some
Right.
You know, it's better for them. It's not for other people.
Right.
Yeah. So it depends on the artist, but I think it's a necessary thing to have at gigs because people want merch. People want shirts.
Yes,
people
that's
want
right.
CDs. They want the memorabilia of all that. So
That's right.
I think I'll probably have CDs just to have them just in case. And
Sure.
then there is a certain demographic that buys CDs.
Yes, that's right. Right.
So if it's an older crowd, it's always a mixed bag at a country music gig too.
That's true.
So
it seems like it'd be a mixed sort of demographic because I've seen ages from, you know, people that are, I swear, 13, and then of course you have people that are 60 plus.
yeah, exactly. So those 60 plus people, I don't think they're on Spotify or anything.
No,
like
no.
that.
Well, I don't even own a cell phone. So. Well, I'm not 60 plus.
Just for the record.
That's right, just for the record. Yeah. Although I look it, I'm sure, but. So you think like the streaming services need to pay more of a royalty rate, say for those artists or genres where maybe their music doesn't get sold as much as physical sales?
Yeah, I think so because some of those bigger artists are getting plays that are in like the millions and they're not seeing. It's just not making sense. It's not equivocal to the plays they get and what they're getting paid out. And I feel like that would probably be the same issue for, smaller independent artists too.
Right.
But that's a whole monster that I'm not even like paying attention to right now.
Right. Sure. And it seems like, well, a lot of, the people that would make the policy changes or legislation changes, it seems like they don't really know too much about the technology, or it also seems like they don't really care about artists or creators sort of rights or struggles.
Yeah, I don't think it's all capitalism, man.
It's all capitalism, right?
And they'll just try to line their pockets and make them as deep as possible.
Right. Because Spotify as a company makes billions of dollars, yet
so rich.
Fractions of a penny are paid out to per stream to artists.
And that's why he's rich.
Oh, there you go.
He figured it out, man.
So let that be a lesson to you kids. Stay in school. Take computer science.
Rip people off.
That's right, yeah. Well, okay, maybe not rip people off. You can use your powers for good, is I guess what I'm saying. So what about, other artists that are growing up, say, in a remote community or even back in Kahnawake that want to become a musician and tour? What kind of advice do you have for them?
Don't do it.
Don't do it. That's what I usually tell people.
Just don't. No. If you genuinely feel passionate about it and you want to pursue it, get ready for a long haul. You know, and a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice, and you're gonna have to pay your dues. That's it. So buckle up.
Right, because it seems like more doors get slammed in your face than ones open.
Oh yeah, right? It's what it is. It's constant rejection, falling on your face. Playing gigs to nobody, playing gigs to a lot of people, making connections, losing connections. It's up and down all the time. It's a roller coaster.
Right. And was there any point in your career where you said, "Fuck it, I've had enough of this. I'm giving up and becoming an investment banker"?
Oh yeah, just today, man.
Just today. Okay. Yeah, just on the way here, actually. Yeah. Actually, halfway through this interview.
Well, I went to trade school, right? So I'm a carpenter by trade, and luckily
excellent.
I can fall back on that, and maybe like my father fucking pounded that into my head. You gotta have something to fall back on, and I'm glad I did. So maybe take that advice, have a fallback plan, and then go for it.
That's right. That's good because some people don't have any. Well, they don't have a plan for their first idea either, right?
Yeah. So, if you don't have anything to fall back on when that well runs dry, you're fucked. Yeah.
But it's good to be in the trades because not enough people go into it, they say these days, and there's a shortage of people working those jobs.
Yeah, I don't know what the statistics are for it, but I've heard that.
Yeah, I've heard some places that they've really struggled. Everyone I think is struggling now. There's a labor shortage. I think it's just people don't want to work anymore. Crappy conditions for crappy pay, right? So,
well, if those people are listening who are hiring, give me a job.
All right, there you go.
Yeah,
that's right. You can call in now and book him for any.
There you go.
For any service, and we mean any service.
Not any service.
Yes, that's a different website that we offer. Great. So would you say the same thing for acting? Say there's people, someone right now sitting in front of their computer watching this, and they say, I want to be an actor as well. What sort of advice? Is it don't get into it like music?
Yeah. I think, like, I saw this documentary, and they asked one of the actors that, what would you say to somebody who wants to pursue acting, or what do they need to pursue acting? They just said rich parents. So
yes.
That's the secret.
Okay.
Also, that's another industry where you're going to be faced with constant rejection as well.
That's right.
And people in the acting community are even more sensitive than musicians.
Yes.
I tell you, actors are very emotional people. So if you're not good at constructive criticism or rejection, maybe it's not for you.
Right.
You know?
Because a lot of artists, and I've not so much in acting because I don't have anything to do with the acting world, but just from working in the music industry for the past 30 years, I find the artists that make it are able to take notes, where they're able to take constructive criticism, and they don't think that all their ideas are gold.
Mm-hmm. Also, just kind of keep trucking along, stick at it. That's how I think a lot of people end up becoming a bit more successful.
Right.
Everything takes time.
Right.
With the music, with the acting, you just, like I said, you just got to be ready for that rocky road that you're about to take that journey on.
Right. And would you say that's kind of makes good qualities of a good producer, is that they're there to help you with that creative vision and sometimes edit you when you need to be edited?
Oh yeah, they're like a coach.
Right, exactly, a coach.
And I thrive on that, man.
Right.
If somebody says, that fucking sucks,
right,
you need to fix that, I'll be like, all right, thank you very much for actually giving me your honest opinion, and I'll go and work on it.
Right.
And that's what you need to be able to, take very openly.
That's right. Constructive criticism is good. If you think that your farts don't stink, well, I don't think you'll get very far.
There's a lot of people like that out there too, man.
There is, and we know who you are. No, they probably don't watch this show, but great. So any shows coming up in the near future we can catch you at?
Man, no, nothing these days.
Okay.
I'm laying low. I'm kind of cleaning house with the band right now. Just kind of, people are so busy.
Okay.
And they're off doing their own things now.
Right.
So I'm looking for a whole new lineup.
Okay.
And,
do they know that? They'll know when they watch this episode.
They know that. They know that.
Okay.
But I'm not really interested in playing solo gigs too much anymore, because I find if I don't have the full band there, you don't get the full effect.
No, that's true. Yeah.
So nothing in the books right now.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm just trying to ride out the tail end of this.
Yeah, I think we all
this
are.
year, see what happens in 2022.
That's right. And when might you find out about the label deal?
Probably, probably early 2022.
Okay, great.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Fantastic. And there'll be some sort of announcement on your website or Facebook?
Yeah, I mean, I use Instagram a lot.
Instagram,
so that's kind of the main platform I feel like everybody's really using these days.
She looks after her Instagram. And once again, I don't have a phone.
You don't even exist. Pretty
I don't
much,
exist.
Yeah. No phone. Don't have an iWatch. No Instagram.
That's right. That's right. The government can't track me. Great. So, I think as we discussed just before we started rolling, you're going to do a song for us. Maybe set up what the song is you're going to do and what's it about.
Yeah, it's about a girl.
Okay.
That's it. It's an older. It's like a new reworked older song called Have Mercy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your songs are based on, like you said, experiences that you had, or are there sort of embellishments or a creative way of telling an experience that you had?
I think they're more, well, I know that they're more based on my personal experiences, because you got to write about what you know.
Right, of course.
You can't really fake that.
That's right.
People can tell when something is inauthentic.
Right.
So I write about what I know, and I know about getting dumped pretty well.
Okay, well, geez, I'm sorry to hear that, but at least you get some material out of it, right?
Yeah, that's it. Masochistic in a way.
Right. And do you, after you complete the song, do you call the person up and they're like, hey, I wrote this song about you?
Oh, no. Once it's out there in the world, I'm pretty sure they check in on all my my musical platforms, and they go, I bet this fucking song's about me, and they share it with their friends.
So it's like when someone dates Taylor Swift, they'll assume the song's about them.
Yeah, that's it. It's working for her, so
it is. Yeah, quite well, actually. So people seem to like that. But she's a talented singer and performer. I don't really follow her, but I acknowledge her accomplishments for sure.
Yeah, T Swift.
Yeah, and so what's the name of the song?
Have Mercy.
Have Mercy, and that's an older song, you said.
It's a new old song.
New old song.
Yeah.
Okay. And is it on any release people could check out, or
no? I think it's gonna be
it?
on the next record. We used to play it live a lot with the full band, and it kind of had like a more bluegrass feel. But this is more stripped down, more like a ballad.
Oh, great! That's awesome. We're looking forward to hearing it, and we're actually gonna switch over to the live portion now.
Cool.
Honey, I got my eyes on you. You got me going hog wild and acting like a fool. Honey, I can't help myself. Have mercy on me, girl, you got me under your spell. I said, now someone call a doctor, tell him come quick. I think I'm feeling just a little lovesick. There's only one thing that cure my blues. It's your sweet loving girl I can use. Have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. Well, now mercy on a lovesick fool. Honey, I ain't gonna break your heart. No need to be scared, I ain't gonna do you no wrong. Honey, I'm asking for one chance. Let me prove to you that you won't need any other man. I said, now someone call a doctor, tell him come quick. I think I'm feeling just a little lovesick. There's only one thing to cure my blues. It's your sweet loving girl I can use. Have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. Well, now mercy on a lovesick fool.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
Great
for having
song.
me. Thank you.
And thank you so much for being on the show.
And please keep in touch with us and let us know of any future developments, any big record deal signings, or even future gigs that are coming up.
Of course.
And we'll help you promote with that. Promote it as well on our show and our website, too. So thank you again for coming on the program.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.